care plan this hour they think will help Republicans finally get their efforts over the finish line. In short, their alternative plan would leave Obamacare taxes on the wealthy in place and send that money in block grants to the states to manage health care, basically trying to take it out of the hands of the federal government. This as President Trump prepares for a joint news conference with French President Macron in Paris, where he's expected, of course, to face questions about two of his family members, Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, both under fire, facing growing scrutiny about their involvement in a meeting that they had with a Russian attorney. A lot to discuss clearly. With me right now to do just that, Rick Santorum is here, CNN political commentator, former Republican senator, and former presidential candidate. Hillary Rosen is here, CNN political commentator and Democratic strategist. Senator, first to health care, if we could. You were deeply involved in pulling together this proposal, this idea that Senator Graham-Cassidy just announced. How does this thread the needle to get enough Republicans on board?
Yeah, one of the reasons that I brought this to Lindsay and actually to many conservatives up on Capitol Hill is because this is really a redo of something that was successfully accomplished with bipartisan support, I might add, back in 1996 called welfare reform. And that is that you give sufficient amount of money to the states to deal with the problem, and then you let the states innovate. And we did that through a block grant proposal called TANF, which is Transitional Assistance to Needy Families. And by the way, that block grant has not been increased in 20 years. Why? Because the states were able to successfully innovate, drive down costs, get people off welfare to work. And we're saying, let's use the same model that is considered the greatest Republican success. And by the way, Democrats tout it as a great success too. And let's find common ground here again. Get this money out of Washington, drain the swamp, stop the money from being orchestrated and spent and managed here in Washington. Get it out to the states. Let innovation, put some cost containment in there to drive innovation and better quality care, and let the states do it in 50 laboratories of success.
So, Hillary, part of that is they're not getting rid of the Obamacare taxes on the wealthy that Democrats were very upset about. Is this a positive step forward?
Well, sure, leaving those taxes in there help fund the bill, but this is just sort of a silly approach, I think. I get that if you were sort of starting in welfare that maybe you would do that, but here we have millions of people who have signed up with the federal healthcare system to go into a state-by-state plan, which the new plan still doesn't address how this is going to help the states bolster their individual exchanges. And then you have a complete switch now where everybody has to go reapply all over the place, not knowing whether their state is going to end up having the resources to support the plan. So it sort of looks like a solution without a problem to me. And I think what we're finding is that the Republicans are really struggling to make a bill that has this system look different than it is, but not have any of the downsides of what they know their people really don't want. Which I wonder, why bother do anything at all? Just support the existing system with fixes that bring people actual health care. All the senator's proposal is going to do is going to turn up the system upside down and not give anybody better care.
Well, what Hillary hasn't listened to is what Senator Cassidy and Senator Graham announced, is that if California or New York, a state wants to keep Obamacare just as is, they can keep it as is. If they want to reform it and change it to improve Obamacare, they can fix it. If they want to get rid of Obamacare, you have 19 states that have no expansion. They can design their own system. So, Hillary, you're absolutely wrong. I mean, you couldn't be more wrong than what the comments that just made. If New York or other states want to keep and maintain the current system, we give them the right to do so. So this is the problem. This is the difference between Hillary and me. She wants to dictate everything from Washington. And what I'd like to do is give the states the opportunity to design the best plan for them.
Go ahead, Hillary.
First of all, you're not changing the care that way. And second of all, if you take out the individual mandate, which I gather, and by the way, this proposal's only been out for 15 minutes, so the real experts haven't analyzed it, and I am certainly not an expert. But if you take away the individual mandate requiring people to buy care, you are still undermining the system because you have leaving the sickest people in the system, and that hurts the overall system. So
if I could quickly just I'm sorry, Hillary.
By the way, the states can go ahead and impose a mandate if they want to.
I just want to ask really quickly.
So it's really up to them.
Not just the details, but the politics of where we are right now. The fact that two senators are rolling out a new alternative right now when Mitch McConnell is going to be rolling out the newest version of his bill and they're looking for a vote tomorrow. The fact that They're rolling out, you're all rolling out a new alternative today. Senator, does that just say how little chance that Mitch McConnell's effort has on going anywhere?
I think Mitch McConnell's done a yeoman's job of trying to cobble together, but the basic platform of which he was working on that was delivered by the House is simply not one that's going to deliver 50 votes. And the reason I believe that, we tried this with welfare reform, where you try to have decisions made in Washington, and you know, there's too much disparity within the Republican caucus where we can't get consensus on what those decisions could be. So we made a basic understanding, which was, let's not make those decisions in Washington. Let's give them to the state. And the key thing is, and this is very important, the states are going to get enough money to be able to deal with this problem. We're working with governors right now. I'm in constant communication with several Republican governors across the country, as is Senator Graham and Senator Cassidy. And we're talking to them, working on the formula, making sure whether you're a state that did expand or a state that didn't expand, that you're going to be treated fairly here, and you're going to have the opportunity and the resources to be able to provide a great, responsible network of care and health insurance for the people in your state.
This is fundamentally the problem with what they're doing, which is they're approaching this from an ideological perspective. The federal government program doesn't work, so give all money to the states. We know that means nothing but cuts, because what we've seen over time is that the states cut. What they don't talk about is, how do you improve health care delivery for people?
And
that's why this is not getting support across the country. That's why the Republicans are feeling so against the wall on this, is because their own constituents don't think it's going to give them better care.
We will see, first and foremost, what happens in the Senate and how it's received by their fellow colleagues in the Senate. Hillary, Senator, always great to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Moments from now.